Welcome to another video on my channel. This video is going to show you how to stay motivated and be productive for studying, working, or anything in general. So let's begin. Also, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're wondering who I am and what my channel is about, please forward to the end of the video where I have a short summary about that. The first thing I would recommend is to always create a to-do list of the important things that you wish to accomplish in a day, and there can be many main tasks and subtasks within that main task, and once you're done you just check them off the list, and this helps you quite a lot. Now what I do is create a master to-do list in which I write whatever I want to do in an entire week, and then I stick it on this weekly list over here, and after sticking it I sort all these tasks from the master to-do list into each day of the week, as I'm doing right now. I feel that the main benefit of creating a to-do list before starting a day or a week is that you jot down everything that you want to do and you are sure to remember. Then you're not going to forget what you had to do, and also it motivates you to do that thing because you see it over there on the list and you feel compelled to complete that task, and that's why I find to-do lists quite effective. Over here the weekly list is a ready-made one which I got as a gift, but you can always print one online and use that as well. Now, instead of creating a master to-do list as you saw me doing previously, you can instead write down the daily tasks that you're sure to do every day no matter what the circumstances, and instead stick that on your weekly list instead of a master to-do list. So that's helpful as well, because instead of writing down those tasks on each and every day, you can just write it separately and stick it over there. Now if you're not a paper person, you can use apps to write down your to-do list. So here is an app called Do, and you can create several lists within this app, and it's quite a good app because it's very simple. But if you're using the free version, you can only create 30 items in total, as in 30 tasks, and if you wish to add more it will ask you to upgrade and pay for more accessibility. And that is why if you want less restrictions, you should use Trello. That's what I use for other things, and it's also available as a website and as an app on desktop. All the links are below. The good thing about Trello is that you can add as many boards as you wish, boards being different, categories for different lists of yours. So for example, over here is my list for my YouTube channel, such as any video ideas or video suggestions, and then those that I'm making, and then those that are finished. And you can add as many cards as you wish. Cards meaning the tasks that you wish to accomplish, but Trello is more for things that you wish to do in a week or a month or so, not for daily tasks. My second tip is to try and create a daily schedule. So for example, when you get up, try to make a schedule of the things that you have to do that day, or you can create the schedule from before and use it the next day or something like that. And if you're not a paper person, once again you can use a range of different apps. You can use this website called getrevising.com. This is specifically aimed for studying, and it's quite amazing. As you can see, there are many settings, such as setting your exam timings and also adding any commitments that you might have, adding subjects. In terms of subjects, their resources are quite good because you can choose the specific subject you're studying for, such as IGCSE, mathematics, etc., and they will provide other resources that other students on this site have created, and it's quite helpful, and they give quite a lot of good features as well, such as adding holidays, and it's quite good. You can use it if you don't like to use written schedules. My third tip is to eat the big frog first, and of course not literally. I'm sure everybody knows what this phrase means. It means to do the task that you find the most difficult and the most boring first. So for example, you really don't like studying commerce, so you finish that task off first and then go ahead and do the other task which you find less displeasing, and you'll find that you feel much better after completing the task that you find the most difficult, because it feels like a lot of load is off your shoulders, and it's much better than doing the opposite. If you do the things that you like and leave the one you don't to the end, you're going to find that you're going to leave it out or procrastinate and end up not doing it. Now, this tip is probably one of the most important tips for you to stay motivated and be productive, and that is to stay positive and not think negatively about the task that you want to do. This is specifically for studying or working. And the thing that I want to talk about is the Sawyer effect, which is that any kind of work can be made into a joyful task or game. The attitude that a person takes to a task can have a huge impact on not only their desire to do the task, but it sometimes influences other desires as well. So it's important to stop thinking negatively about studying or whatever task you want to do, and don't consider it as work that you're obliged to do. Just see it as something positive. And if you've read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, from which this effect gets its name, then you'll know that he was told to paint a fence and he really didn't want to do it, so he made it seem enjoyable and convinced his friends to do it for him. And that is basically what you have to do. You have to make your work seem like play. Now you might be wondering, how am I supposed to enjoy studying? Well, number one, try to find another way to study. So for example, over here is quizzes. There are lots of quizzes on a range of different topics, and you can go ahead and do one of these instead of just poring over your textbook. If you feel bored, you can just do one of these, and I'm sure it's going to be much more interesting than just reading a textbook and not understanding anything. So you can do one of these, and the good thing about it is that it's lively and interesting, it's engaging, and you get to know how you did. And you can even create your own quizzes, which is a good way of studying as well. So my main point is that you should try to change the way you're studying. Don't just try to sit for 4 hours straight doing the same type of studying. Also, another thing that you can do is to try to make your own crossword. So this website over here, worksheets.teacherscorner.net, you can create your own crossword on any topic that you wish. So for example, science, I'm not going to enter any words right now. I'm just going to go ahead with their sample, and you can choose the type of font you wish to use, and then you just scroll down and click on make crossword puzzle, and then later on you can test yourself on this crossword puzzle. It's a fun way to do it. You can also look at other people's crosswords instead if you don't want to make your own, and then you can even save it as a PDF image or print it and do it manually. Again, another way to try to change the way you study is by watching YouTube videos such as those by CrashCourse. They have these really nice animations in between all of the explanations, and it helps a lot in focusing. Another channel is called In a Nutshell. I can't pronounce the first bit of the name, so their channel is quite good as well. They have these fully animated videos on a range of topics, so you should check it out as well. All the links to these channels and websites are also down below. Another way to try and enjoy studying is by changing the environment where you study, or studying in a place that's more lively than the place you were studying before, or looking out of a window while studying, or choosing a place where you feel comfortable. Also, if you're getting overwhelmed by a particular task, you can always switch between different tasks to try to enjoy what you're doing more instead of getting bored and giving it up. So that's another way to stay motivated. Now let's move on to the next tip. If you really want to stay motivated to do your tasks, then you have to make sure to incorporate breaks into your study day, because if you just study straight for a long period of time, you're going to get really tired and demotivated, and you might not feel like doing anymore. So you should definitely take breaks between your study sessions, and some people prefer to use the Pomodoro technique, which I also use sometimes, and that is working for 25 minutes, basically a 25-minute interval with a 5-minute break, but you can customize this as per your need. So for example, as you see over here, I've set a timer for 30 minutes, and if you're wondering what this app is, it's called Be Focused. It's available on desktop and on mobile devices, but for Apple users only, and I find it quite a good app. I have a review on this app in my channel as well. The link to that is below and on the top, and that is why I like to use the Pomodoro technique, because I have this app which makes it much more easier to analyze the time you spend on tasks and organize your time. And it also gives these really nice reports. But you don't need to use the Pomodoro technique or any app like this. It's up to you how you want to study and when. My main point is that you should take breaks, and those breaks should be productive, which brings me to my next point. Your breaks should not be conventional breaks. If you really want to stay motivated, you shouldn't take conventional breaks. And by conventional breaks, I mean things like watching YouTube or Netflix or using social media or any other thing that doesn't really motivate you to continue studying. So instead of conventional breaks, you should take productive breaks instead, and these range from reading books to exercising to playing board games or doing brain exercises. There are quite a number of productive breaks which one can take, and when I say reading a book, you don't necessarily need to read non-fiction only. You can read fiction books as well, because whatever book you read, eventually it helps you to build your vocabulary, increase your capacity of understanding and comprehension. Next, you should try to do some exercise if you don't feel like reading, and this is an app called 7 which I use. They give workouts for 7 minutes, and sometimes I do these between my study sessions. And the benefit of exercising is that it helps you to get more energized instead of getting tired or lazy, and you don't feel like procrastinating or putting off your work. Then you can also play games like the one in the first video, or you can read knowledge related books, or you can do fun things like doodling or playing brain games or doing Sudoku, crossword, etc. Now, you don't need to have such books to play Sudoku or crossword. You can always go online. Another example of a productive break is to journal. If you haven't already started a journal, then you should start one, and it can be both on paper, or you can start one online on your phone or on some website. This is the Notes app on my iPhone, or you can even use any other Notes app. And yes, as I mentioned before, you don't need a book that's specifically for crosswords. You don't need to buy one. You can always search online for free crosswords, which are available on many news sites and other websites as well. And then if you are a fan of Sudoku or those kind of things, you can search for that as well. I'm not really good at Sudoku. I don't do it that much, but sometimes I do it, not most of the times. And that's also a good way to take a break, because it keeps your brain active and it doesn't make it lazy. And that's what my main point was. You should take breaks that make you feel better, not make you feel more tired or more, demotivated. You should take productive breaks that will eventually help you to continue your studying and not just give it up or procrastinate. Of course, if you're taking a long break or if you're done with your studying, then you should surely treat yourself and do whatever kind of activity that you wish, because you can't study or do productive things all day. This tip is one that's quite obvious. If you don't want distractions, you should switch off your phone, turn off the Wi-Fi, or simply put it on airplane mode and keep it somewhere that's not reachable, and you'll find that you'll be less distracted and able to focus more and be more motivated. This tip is something that's not very easy to follow, and that's waking up early, because if you want to wake up early, you definitely have to sleep early, and it's hard to change that. It's hard for me as well. I don't always wake up early, but I try to. And this app is called Alarmy, and the good thing about this app is that it has missions within each alarm you set. So for example, you really want yourself to wake up and not just put it on snooze, so you can choose a type of mission that will help you to wake up. So for example, over here you can select a photo, and it's going to ask you to take the same photo once you wake up. Now over here is an example. So the alarm rang and I dismissed it, and now it's asking me to memorize this and do this memory sort of game so that it really wakes me up and I don't just end up falling asleep again. So I choose this memory option because I like it the most, but you can choose anything else as well as taking a QR code, screenshot, etc. This is my final tip, and that is to eat and drink throughout your studying or working session so that your brain is able to function properly. If you starve yourself, don't eat anything, you're not going to find yourself functioning properly. So you should take small snacks like cucumbers, and definitely keep yourself hydrated by drinking water, or if you like tea, you can go ahead and have that. So those were all of my tips. I hope you take inspiration from them and try to follow them as well. Thank you for watching. So that's it, that's the end of the video. If you're wondering who I am, well, I'm a scholarship awarded student studying at a school in the UAE, and I like to write short stories in my free time. I also love to read books, and I take photographs which I upload on unsplash.com. And I'm also a beginner Apple Swift coder. If you're wondering where I took my course, I took it at treehouse.com, and I'm also Azure Fundamentals certified, Microsoft Azure Fundamentals certified in fact, and the link to my badge is down below.